something that only a white woman would and could do.
Now you've pissed me off. You picked the wrong fucking day to pull this shit. I've bit my tongue about your racism and your misogyny.
So we're all on the same page. Not Actually Golden made a video where she explicitly said, I'm not calling anyone a racist. That's not my place. But what I am saying is that the racial elements of this case cannot be ignored. The power dynamics in this case cannot be ignored. And a white woman got so mad that another white woman was talking about race, pointing out the racial disparities in the workplace, something that unemployment lawyer has seen a lot of, I'm sure, right? Power dynamics is something I'm sure Not Actually Golden's very familiar with. Pointing all that out, pointing out the society we live in, that's what makes her a racist and a misogynist. So just note the classic white woman, you talking about race is racist. She's trying to shut down a conversation that makes her feel uncomfortable. And just notice all the times that her crown and root are not in alignment. She's not very grounded in what she's saying, and her shoulders are rolled forward. This is making her really angry, really worked up. She's not connected to her heart. Just notice it.
For too fucking long. But after watching that and I'm fucking done with this shit. I'm not pretending anymore. Because how fucking dare you? How dare you pretend that this is about race? It has nothing to do with fucking race.
White woman, black man, if you're not aware of the power dynamics between white women and black men, I have so many books I could give you to read if you'd like, but it absolutely is about race.
It has to do with the patriarchy and misogyny. And you, madam, are a fucking misogynist. And I know you don't think you are because you think you're a liberal and you think that you support women, but you fucking don't.
I wish I had taken screenshots of all the nasty things Dapple Gray Manor has said about Little Girl Attorney, about Not Actually Golden, and directly to me in my comments sections, because y'all would be laughing at that last clip if you knew how she talked about women. And the reason she talks about us that way is because we know more about this subject than her, and that pisses her the fuck off because she thinks the most important opinion in the room is hers, and it just isn't.
You only support women that you like, that aren't problematic, that are the perfect renditions of female. That's the patriarchy. That's not feminism.
Did you catch her identifying women as female? In other words, we're identifiable by our reproductive parts. That was an interesting choice of word. Daps, there are always going to be women out here who are our ops, like you, right? There are always going to be women out here who are upholding the patriarchy. And I bet you're about to prove my point.
Lively played the game that was created by men for men, and she won. And that's why you're upset, and that's why all the Baldoni supporters are upset.
Deppel, I have a real serious question for you. Do you think the tools of patriarchy are going to dismantle patriarchy? Do you think engaging purposefully in extortion and collusion and these power games, that's doing anything for feminism? Like, truly, do you think that? And you're about to get real hypocritical on this point later. So everybody remember how we're celebrating Blake for winning at patriarchy. Just put a pin in that in your brain, okay?
You're essentially saying?
We're going to get into a series of straw men, and I just want you to take note. You're essentially saying, so you are saying, that's a big cue that somebody's about to make up a straw man so they can easily knock it down. Let's see what she's got.
That the only reason that she could win is because she's a white woman.
So Blake Lively had a plan to gain control of this movie, right? And in it, she planned on extorting these guys, finding problems along the way and saying, I'm going to make a complaint unless you do exactly what I want, right? She was colluding with her friends. She was using all sorts of coercive power dynamics. I mean, the power dynamics she was using are like classic examples, right? And what Not Actually Golden was saying is that's the kind of behavior white women engage in the conference room at workplaces. It's a viral conversation a while back where a black woman asked other black women, who would you rather be in a conference room, white men or white women? And they overwhelmingly said white men. And to Nag's point, that's because white women engage in manipulation, coercion, and control. They play these tacky little power dynamic games. And if it's racist to talk about that, call me a fucking racist, because this is ours to deconstruct. This is our problem. And if you can't see the through line in how that's playing out in our larger society, Daps, you're the fucking problem.
So not only are you a misogynist, you're also a fucking racist. Because you're saying that black women or other have the power that Lively has.
So you're saying, did you catch it? That's not what Not Actually Golden said. So I don't know. It's one of those arguments she made up so she could easily knock it away. Look at how racist Not Actually Golden is being. But Daps, you made that up.
They will never win. They can never achieve equality. That's your argument.
You must have watched a different video because that wasn't anywhere in there. But now we know what you think about Black women because that came out of your brain.
You have spent your entire career and your time on this app doing nothing but preventing women victims from getting justice from their male abusers.
That's a crazy thing to make up. That's really wild. What world are you living in, Daps? Because it isn't this one. You want to come back down to this one? Let's start with yoga, maybe? Tai Chi? Deep breathing? Come back to us, honey.
Your whole life is holding up the patriarchy.
Let's pull that pin out we talked about earlier. So Blake Lively upholding the patriarchy, engaging in the patriarchy and winning. A-okay. Not Actually Golden having a job where she engages in the patriarchy, like the rest of us who have jobs do, by the way. We all exist in this system. But what we're saying is, where you can and when you can, use your power as white women to push back against the system. Right? Blake isn't doing that. Not Actually Golden is. So if we're going to celebrate Blake for upholding the patriarchy, we're not going to tear down Not Actually Golden for engaging in the patriarchy. That's hypocritical.
So spare me and the rest of us from your delusions of thinking that you're a feminist.
Hey, Daps, your digital footprint gives it away that you're not a feminist, that you don't deconstruct from patriarchal and misogynistic ideals. We see you being misogynistic about other women in comment sections. We see your content. And once you start deconstructing from the tenets of white supremacy, the tenets of white narcissism, it becomes really easy to see who isn't doing the work. And it's really easy to see you're not doing the work.
Because, madam, you are quite literally the type of pick-me woman, the boy mom, if you will, that does nothing but keep women down. It's literally your life.
This is a woman who spends a lot of time bullying women on the internet just for disagreeing with them. She couldn't find polite discourse if it fucking hit her in the face. But what did hit her in the face is that she recognizes that Blake Lively was engaging in patriarchy and won. So Blake Lively out here, a symbol for the patriarchy. This was so unhinged. It was so unnecessary. But I'm going to go ahead and say what Not Actually Golden wouldn't say. Trying to shut down conversations of race, conversations that we need to deconstruction that we need to be doing, education we need to be giving one another. Trying to shut that down because that makes you uncomfortable, that does make you a fucking racist. It's a pretty basic archetype of white woman that you're playing. So have the day you deserve, Daps.